I think you always thought about Jozi or Johannesburg as an inner city, as a place that needed some level of reimagining. Because as you always said that the reason why you are staying here is because you want your grandchildren to stay here. Maybe just, you said you're very clear, you were answering the question. I'm very clear as to what I want to spend my life on.
And we haven't seen each other for a while. And the last couple of weeks have been quite interesting weeks for me. So it's good to have a catch up as well. So,
yes.
This will be the catch up.
We will use this and we will have it recorded as well. Yeah,
definitely. So, I mean, I think for me, the vision really, and I want to say it in this forum as well, because Gibs has been an incredible partner to me, Rabbi Pogren, who runs the business ethics department of Gibs. He's the most kind of fair and the most, also the most curious guy, and he's open to all suggestions. So this journey actually started with me in Wits University, because I actually met with a guy called Klebo Dlamini, the guy that actually started Fees Must Fall at Wits. And I was chatting to him one day at Con Hill and saying to him, you know, what do you want from someone like myself? I'm 60 years old. I'm a white male. Okay. I wasn't in the struggle. Okay. What do you want from someone like me? Do you want me to leave this country? Should I go? Okay. Or should I stay and make an impact here? You know, I've built a business. It's at a point in time where the business can grow without me. It doesn't really need my skill. What do you want? Okay. If I look at our constitution, and I'm a huge constitutionalist, I believe that our constitution, from the struggle, emerged a constitution. And that constitution, most people, how many people have read the constitution here? Okay, so it's not a bad amount, but probably, let's say 50% haven't read the preamble to the constitution, which was really the gift that the struggle gave us. And through that gift that the struggle gave us, we don't, as South Africans, haven't grabbed the pearls that have actually been given. And so I'm a big believer that our constitution, certainly there's certain layers of the constitution, and one of them is we're united in our diversity. You actually want me here as a Jewish white male from Lithuanian extraction in South Africa, working with, you know, different people from around the world actually, and from different nationalities and different ethnicities. Because together, we're going to make this place great. We're not going to do this as individuals. And yes, it is individuals that change the world. So when I sat and challenged Klebo on this, he said, no, you have to stay and we've got to fix this country. And so I said, well, how do we fix? Where do we start? Me as an individual, I'm tired of giving sandwiches out on the road and little apples. And, you know, how can we make massive change in this country? And he said, do it through Wits University. Now, I was a graduate of Wits, and that's what I say. I'm sensitive to saying it here in Gibs, but Gibs and Wits have become extreme good partners actually on this. And I'd never been back to Wits. I'm a graduate of Wits, never been back to Wits for 30 years, other than my kids' graduation. And I drove home that night, and I thought to myself, that's a very interesting kind of theory, that if you work together with Wits to actually fix whatever the challenges are, what an incredible partner. Because Wits also need to lift their game as well. Wits were also feeling a little bit down and a little bit trampled on. And you had Gibs that was really emerging strongly. And Wits somehow hadn't found their mojo. And so I reached out to the Vice Chancellor, Professor Zebulon Vilakazi, who is an incredible vision. I also fell in love with him. So I've fallen in love with a lot of people lately.
Yeah.
I fell in love with Zeb, and I said to him, you know, let's work together. Because if I have to go and work with Wits, this big institution, and then go and say, well, I have to have certain agreements, and then I've got to get approval from all the kind of stuff. It's not going to work. Let's just work. And he said to me, he gave me a quote from the Blues Brothers. You know, I'm 500 miles from Chicago. It's dark. I'm wearing sunglasses. I've got my Chesterfields on the windscreen. Hit it. Okay, let's just go. And I took in that energy, and I thought, let's do it. Okay, and that was the real kind of beginning of all the journey. And that's when I got to meet Roze, and that's when we started doing some stuff. And then Wits then recognized the work that we were doing at Baragwanath, because the work we're doing at Baragwanath is absolutely stunning, but it's a separate discussion.
It is a separate.
And the work that the Wits then recognized some of the work that they did, and they asked me to join the Wits Business School board. Now, I'd never been on a Wits business. I'd never been to Wits Business School, never been to a Wits Business School board. it was like, what am I doing in this business school? You know, I mean, I've been to Gibs. I speak a lot at Gibs, but never been to Wits, and certainly never as part of like a formal structure. And at that meeting, the discussion came about, for Wits, Anglo-American had moved out of 44 Main Street and had moved to Rosebank, and they wanted Wits to take a location at 47 Main, across the road from there. And should they do that? And the kind of conclusion was that Anglo are looking to move out of the city for Wits to move in and for them to actually let Wits then clean the inner city of Joburg.
I want to stop you there because this is an important conversation that you have, because you're going to tell the story about Anglo wanting to move out and some of the choices you made as Nando's in that conversation that you had. Because you always say to us, the Constitution is just a piece of paper.
Yeah.
On its own, it cannot do anything.
Yeah. I mean, I think the struggle was really about, you know, at the end of the day, the struggle could have gone two ways. And it went the way of Madiba, and it went the way of rationality, and it went the way of the broadest negotiation. There were 490 people that were part of the constitutional creating process that represented millions and millions of South Africans. It was the broadest negotiated document actually of all time. Okay, it's not very dissimilar to the American Constitution, and also very different to the rhetoric that people are saying that the Constitution was negotiated in a smoke-filled room and people twisted Madiba's arm. Nothing further from the truth than that. Okay, the problem is that is a document. Okay, and a document can't be implemented without people. And so, if you follow a young designer by the name of Tsepo's just launched a range of T-shirts called We the People T-shirts, because it's about we the people, okay? And that's why it's the most powerful thing. And I'll tell it to you in the context of my life, okay? Because in 94, you know, Madiba was released earlier than 94, but when our first election happened in 94, we just all sat back. I was busy building Nando's. We're building the business. Heads were down, entrepreneurially, looking at campaigns. We've always behaved in a very constitutional way. Even before 1990, we always wanted to create a business that was for everybody. It was a business that was inclusive. It was a business that we felt wanted to reflect what we felt in our hearts for the future of South Africa. We were all in the glow of Madiba, and you guys are too young to actually to have recognized what that glow was. We all had a glow where we all sat back. It was the Rainbow Nation. It was a beautiful time. Money was coming back into South Africa. Investment. There was a rising tide. It lifted all boats. Okay? And so we just sat back and did nothing and just benefited from this kind of rising tide. But people expected the Constitution, and myself, up to about 8 years ago, because now I'm a trustee at the Constitutional Hill Trust. And our role is to promote and expand the Constitution out to the people of South Africa. Because the view is that a document can't come alive on its own. Okay, a document has to be implemented by the people, okay, whoever the people are. Okay, and that's why I'm so excited about where we are right now. And I'm jumping a little bit to the future. But never before has there been more opportunity in South Africa than right now for people like yourselves, okay, that are going to relive that Madiba moment, okay, because we've got a government of national unity, which in a way is a miracle, okay, and it's opening up, whether you're ANC, whether you're EFF, whether you're PA, DA, forget what your politics are. You're now a part of a government of national unity, the same way that it was. It's we, the people, that have got to get stuck in to do this stuff, not wait for government to do it. Government can never, ever, ever implement anything on their own. We must understand that. We thought in my day, government are going to go and do this all because their hearts are in the right place. There's a social contract that they've got with the people. Never, ever, ever. It will never happen. In no country in the world does government operate on their own. I don't understand. I don't see it. But I see an opportunity now for the people to get stuck in. And through what we do, which is what we've done at Barra and what Josie My Josie is, through the lens of the Constitution, because the Constitution must be your framework for the way you live your life. Because at the heart of our Constitution is humanity, humility, and love for people. At the heart of that Constitution is the stuff is, Neil, what you were talking about earlier. At the heart of everything you spoke about is our constitution.
Yeah.
And that's what we as South Africans have as our special DNA that no other country has, having gone through the struggle, having left us with a blueprint that we've ignored for 30 years. Now is the generation to take that blueprint and implement it according to that roadmap.
With dignity.
With human dignity, at the center of everything that we do. Even the language is defined in that constitution. And the verbs are there to do.